So recently I was invited to talk about Bitcoin on national TV in front of millions of people. And I got to tell you, I was completely nervous. The producers over at Newsmax got me all set up in the studio. And honestly, it was the most intimidating thing I've done as a content creator. I want to show you guys some of the clips and I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let's get into it. Okay, so this is the first clip that I did. This was right around 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm at the studio, and my mom actually recorded this live on TV. I didn't get the clip from Newsmax for this, so let's check this out.
How are you? How you guys doing? Thank you for having me.
It is so good to have you. You know, a lot of our viewers maybe heard about Bitcoin. They also hear about crypto, and they just want to know exactly, what the situation is, what the status of the marketplace is right now. And that's sort of where you come in, Michael, and you've been talking about the advantages of it being decentralized. So kind of boil down to the state, if you will, of Bitcoin right now, 2024.
Well, we just went through a Bitcoin halving, which every 4 years, Bitcoin slashes the mining rewards in half, which traditionally this helps the price appreciation of Bitcoin through moving forward. Also, a lot of people are moving towards Bitcoin now because no one has trust in these banks anymore. I mean, the banking system has failed a lot of American people, and it's honestly, it's a shame.
Some of these points at EJ, we've been watching and tracking.
Honestly, it is true. A lot of people have moved away from the banking system or are trying to get away from it because it's just bad. Fractional reserve banking is terrible, but this guy was like the opposition, so it's interesting to hear what he has to say. Let's do it.
For a while when it comes to fiat, and people are looking at, where if it's decentralized, there's a finite supply. So as he talked about the halving there's also, I believe, these seasons where some say it's pretty stable in some way. Where do you stand on this as someone who kind of watches the market and as an economist on what you would suggest or sort of what you think the trends are with Bitcoin?
Well, I really like Bitcoin for the two reasons that you just mentioned. It has a fixed supply and it's also decentralized. So it would be very difficult, though not impossible, for a government to control and regulate it. However, it is very, very volatile, a little too volatile for me, which is why I don't own any. I prefer gold as an inflation hedge. But that being said, I really encourage people to continue to develop these cryptocurrency technologies because they do represent an alternative to fiat, which has proven itself to be absolutely terrible. The dollar, for example, has lost 20%, a fifth of its value.
He's right. The dollar has completely collapsed. And he agreed with me, but didn't agree with me. He chooses gold over it, which we're seeing a lot of people actually flip from gold to Bitcoin in their portfolios now. And I wanted to bring this point up, but it was a short segment. Let's continue.
In just the last few years.
Yeah, it's true. And people under Joe Biden's economy, Bidenomics, want to keep every dollar they have.
You can tell I was nervous because I was rubbing my hands. Oh my God, I was so nervous.
And they're following bank accounts, even though it's not going any further. 20 seconds, I'll give you the last word here. Michael, obviously people need to get informed. They need to learn more before they make any decisions.
Right, we have an education issue in the United States. A lot of people need to educate themselves on what Bitcoin is and how it's going to improve. And as a country, we want to be ahead of our adversaries here when it comes to the technology. It's not just about crypto. Blockchain brings tons of things to the market, new technologies, and Bitcoin is just the start. So with the ETFs, we're going to see exactly what's going to happen, and I think it's going to be great.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, both of you, Michael and EJ.
Okay, so for the record, I was looking to my right because she was sitting to my right. Now, normally I was supposed to be like the guy on the right, EJ, and just stare right at the camera, but I didn't do that. They actually told me a couple times behind the camera to look over here. I didn't do that. I kind of treated it like a normal conversation and just was looking to her while I was speaking to her. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Fantastic. And I think a lot to think about in the coming months and years. Thanks, guys.
All right, let's get to the next clip. Okay, so this segment was actually on Newsmax 2 on all their streaming platforms. So apparently they're on every major streaming platform in the country, and they get a few thousand people at a time on each platform watching. So this was the second interview. Let's get to it.
All right, we are back. Bitcoin, as we were just saying, hit $69,000 recently, beating a previous record set in November of 2021. Gold also at all-time highs now, more than $2,000 an ounce, surpassing a previous high met in early December. And now we can get to our guest to talk more about these two things. Michael Zuccarelli, Chief Marketing Officer at Terra Hosting and owner of Hawk Crypto Mining. Michael, I can hear you now, I think. Great to have you with us.
I could tell you that this was the same day as the last one. I went to a different part of the studio. Okay, let's go.
Yep. Hey, thanks, John. Appreciate it.
All right, so tell us, you know, gold has traditionally been a safe haven in turbulent times, but now it looks like Bitcoin could also provide that option. You know, I read one report today that says Bitcoin might go up to $100,000. You think that's possible?
Oh, 100%. I mean, if we look at, we just went through a halving cycle with Bitcoin, and if you look at the natural progression of the chart and stuff, it's totally possible it can do that. And, you know, there's talk that Bitcoin might flip gold. It's completely possible.
So as you can see here, like I'm sitting in this chair and I'm not like really comfortable. The chair is like rocking back and forth and I'm trying to like keep my weight forward and I'm like crunched up, like I'm nervous. My shoulders are forward. And it's funny because I was talking to Max Voltage after this and he's like, dude, like relax. You got to relax your shoulders. I was nervous, man. It was my first time there. Like cut me a break, right? But it's all love. It was constructive criticism. Let's keep going.
Yeah, that's one thing too. A lot of us, when we looked at this back in 2021, many of us wishing at that point, when at the previous highs, that we had gotten into the market. But I think at the same time, you started to see more traditional investors take a cold, hard look at this. And you talked about these halving cycles. We've seen several of these before.
Right.
Bitcoin goes up high, it goes back down, but then it goes back and almost doubles where it had been at previous highs. So where do you think, you know, if not $100,000, where do you see the next high maybe is?
Well, you know, it's hard to say and it's hard to predict because, you know, after every halving, we've seen a new all-time high. So, you know, we've already hit one this year. I believe Bitcoin got up to about 72, 73. And I really do think we're going to see, we could probably see about 100,000 this year. You know, it's hard to say. No one can predict the markets, but Bitcoin's definitely going to be there. It's a deflationary asset. And hey, you know, there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin, right? Only ever going to be 21 million. So you can't print it more like we print dollars. So that's just what it's going to be. And then when it's all bought up, then what?
That's the thing that people always talk about. There's a limited supply of Bitcoin, and that limited supply, of course.
You see my eyes move up a little bit? That's because there's a screen on top of the camera, and I kept going to look at the camera and the screen to see what I look like, and I kept adjusting myself. Oh my God, I was so nervous.
Makes the demand what it is. You know, and this is where we also want to remind people too, Michael, that, you know, go into your financial advisor, say you heard that Bitcoin could go to $100,000, but talk about it with a professional first. Just don't take our advice for it, right?
Correct. Yes, correct. You never want to, don't take the advice. Just do your own research and educate yourself. There's tons of great education out there for Bitcoin. And it's not just about Bitcoin. It's also the technology. We want to bring the technology. We want to be on the forefront of that in the United States. It's something we should all open our eyes to.
Yeah, the blockchain technology utilized in a lot of other areas as well besides finance. Just one quick last question.
So that's what I was trying to get a point across is like, it's not just about crypto. It's also the technology that comes with it. Everybody just looks at crypto as like this magic internet money. And it's not what I'm trying to convey.
For you, Michael, we talked about Bitcoin, but do you see other digital currencies also increasing in value at the same pace as Bitcoin?
Absolutely. With Bitcoin, it's more of a rising tide raises all ships. So when Bitcoin does well, a lot of the altcoins start to do well. But there are some other coins like Litecoin, which usually operate a little opposite. So you got to kind of do your education on it and figure out what it is. The altcoin market is great. A lot of people invest in altcoins. There's a lot more upside in some people's opinions, but Bitcoin is literally the gold standard of cryptocurrency. That's just what it is. A lot of people put it in there. I put money in Bitcoin. And, you know, we heard people like Michael Saylor and all kinds of people talk about it. And honestly, you don't even need one whole Bitcoin. I think 0.1 Bitcoin will set a lot of people up good in the future. Not financial advice, but that's just my opinion there.
You got to throw the not financial advice. And I think it is true. Like everybody thinks that you have to buy one Bitcoin. You would be so surprised to figure out how many people in the older generation think you have to buy one. And they're like, well, I can't afford a coin for $68,000 or whatever the price is right now. they don't know that they can buy a fraction of it, right? And that's important to convey as well. So in my opinion, it is.
Yeah, you know, take a little bit of money, something you can afford to lose perhaps, start putting it into Bitcoin. Some of us wish we did this back in 2022 when Bitcoin was at a low point. But again, it shows it's resilient, it's coming back. Michael Zuccarelli, great to see you. Thanks for being with us.
So that was the second clip on the same day. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this was a completely separate day on a completely separate show on Newsmax 2. This was on all streaming platforms. And this one actually went pretty well too, so let's check it out.
By welcoming in Michael Zuccarelli. He's the co-founder of Terra Hosting. He runs the Hawk Crypto Mining YouTube channel. And he
Say that 5 times as fast.
joins us tonight live. Michael, good to see you, sir.
Good to see you too. Thank you for having me.
We want to get a handle on Bitcoin and crypto in a moment, but first, why do
You see me look up at the screen again? Oh my gosh, dude.
you think Donald Trump has such an edge in terms of his handling of the economy? My suspicion is people have seen the body of work. They've seen both of these men, and they have strong opinions. Your thoughts?
Right. Well, when it comes to Donald Trump, everything's deregulation, right? And with cryptocurrency, as you mentioned earlier, that's the whole idea of cryptocurrency, is people to get out of the big bank system and bank themselves, essentially. We want to be away from big regulation, and that's the whole idea with crypto, and that's why I think the former president, is backing it.
And in fact, Politico has this headline saying,
So this was a more political argument. They were trying to get me to get more of the politics side of cryptocurrency in it. And as you guys know, a lot of people in crypto are not very political, although I do think crypto is political nowadays. But let's continue to watch and see where he goes.
that this crypto may be Donald Trump's secret weapon. The former president telling crypto backers at an event at Mar-a-Lago recently he's going to push back against Biden's crackdown on the digital currency. Do you think that expanding the cryptocurrency market could help grow the economy?
Oh, absolutely. Cryptocurrency is just the one little piece that you get from the technology. Blockchain technology is going to change everything. We're looking at a potential trillion-dollar industry. Why give it to the hands of our adversaries? We have to be ahead with this technology. We shouldn't regulate it up the wazoo. We should really get down and be on the forefront of it. And that's what I think Mr. Donald Trump wants to do.
I was so nervous that I thought the word wazoo was a bad word for a second. And then I realized that, oh, wait, no, that's okay.
Well, and as you say, that's part of his more deregulatory approach. He wants to cut taxes. He wants to cut regulations. Biden has been talking about taxing NFTs, cryptocurrency, and that has frustrated a lot of people. Do you think it's a big factor in why younger voters are leaning now towards Mr. Trump? We hear a lot of people talk about Israel, and that's a factor, these pro-Hamas protests on campus. But we also know young people like yourself are, shall I say, a little more interested in cryptocurrency, in Bitcoin, and the fluctuations in the market. Is that something that's attracting young people, that they see this as the future?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the majority of the cryptocurrency industry are younger people. And I'll be honest with you, I think it just comes down to, we've seen fractional reserve banking fail.
I think the age group actually for cryptocurrency, the majority of the age group is like early 20s to early 30s, I think is like the majority of people in cryptocurrency that engage, that buy, that trade, that crypto mine, all that stuff. Influencers as well.
It fails numerous times. And I think it really comes down to people just not having faith in the banking system. And honestly, cryptocurrency is just a one little piece. Like I said, blockchain technology will usher in a brand new economy. And, you know, to be honest with you, former President Donald Trump taking the stance on Bitcoin and blockchain tech will be the best thing for this country moving forward. It'll give us the hedge we need to be ahead of our adversaries.
Last thing quickly.
You can see that they're trying to get me to like say, I like attack one side or the left or the right, one side or the other. And it's really not that way. I enjoyed the interview. It's nothing against them, but crypto is not that way. It fits every political or political ideology or whatever you want to call it, right? It really does. And that I think is important because there's people on all sides that like crypto. So trying to say one side is worse than the other, when it comes to maybe regulation, that may be the case, but there's people from all walks of life in crypto.
Joe Biden has also talked about a specific digital currency that has spooked a lot of people, different than cryptocurrency.
Oh, you best believe I attack CBDCs here.
But a digital currency. In the 30 seconds we have, what do you see as the big difference here? Because it spooked a lot of people that Biden is pushing this digital currency.
Right, so he's pushing something called the CBDC, which is a central bank digital currency. This is something that we do not want. We don't want CBDCs. This is programmable money. They can tell you what to spend it and how to spend it, and it's ridiculous. This is something that we don't want. I'm okay with the government coming in and helping us out with crypto, but hey, we got to stop somewhere because CBDCs are a bad idea for people and they already have too much control.
Yeah, and the Biden administration had an executive order looking at all this, and a lot of people are quite skeptical of what he's up to. Michael Zuccarelli, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
So that was the third and final video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. I thought I did okay. I think it was a great experience. I do look forward to being on Newsmax in the future. Comment, like, subscribe, guys. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hawk out.